Thinking about leaving your soul-sucking 9-to-5 job, one of the biggest struggles I see people, especially as women, face is the idea of having that safety net, that enticing perks and benefits, and listening to that head trash of what will people think if I leave. I totally get it, and I've been where you are. That's why I created a free guide to help you if you're thinking about putting in that notice. It's called Unlocking Your Exit Plan. Discover 5 things you need to do before leaving your 9-to-5. This guide is filled with worksheets and steps so you will have hand holding along the way. You can download your copy in the link in the show notes, and again, it's totally free. Now back to today's episode. You're listening to the Hello C.S. Dorsey podcast, episode number 5. What causes writer's block? Creative problems that originate within the author's work itself. Other blocks may be produced by circumstances in the writer's life or career. Physical illness, depression, the end of a relationship, financial pressure, or a sense of failure. Also, a life event. And finally, my favorite, procrastination. I recently did a Facebook Live for a writers group and broke down all the things that are keeping us from achieving our writing goals. In this episode, we're going to dive into the cause of writer's block and some tips that can help you along the way. Let's dive in. Tired of staring at blank pages and don't know what to do? Or you completed your manuscript and now what? My name is C.S. Dorsey of HelloCSDorsey.com, and I coach writers and authors with the writing and self-publishing process. I wrote my book in 3 months. Yes, 3 months. It took dedication, discipline, and time management. After 3 months of writing and 3 months of editing, I submitted my book to tons of literary agents who said no or just didn't say anything at all. So I went to my best friend Google. My goal is to help, teach, and motivate writers to take that leap to become a self-published author. It will be a dream come true. Thank you so much for coming to the first writing session for this group. It's called Get the Fog Out of Here. I have to make sure I say that slowly. I told my mom, but the session was going to be, and she said, "You said a bad word." I know I did. So I have to make sure I say that really slow. So it's Get the Fog Out of Here. And I picked this topic mainly because a lot of you stated that you have trouble getting started. You know, you don't know where to start and it's really hard. And I completely understand. So this is actually going to be the first session or Get the Fog Out of Here, and then I'm going to split it up and we're going to have a session 2. And the reason why I'm doing that is because you can't cure writer's block overnight. It's not going to happen at all. This is something that you have to definitely work at and practice in order to get basically that fog out of your head, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get started now. I'm gonna try and do this in 30 minutes. It's gonna be really hard for me because I love to talk and I didn't realize that I like to talk. I'm a complete introvert, but as I get older and years go by, I'm starting to find out that I'm actually half introvert, half extrovert. So I know I'm weird. I know, I get it. Okay, so welcome. Welcome to the session. And like I said before about the comments, make sure you post comments, and we're going to talk about any questions you have later on. If you don't have any questions right now, we can definitely do a Q&A session. Maybe sometime next week we do a live Q&A. It's completely up to you guys. This is your group. I'm just the person that's basically helping you along your writing path or your publishing path. Okay. So who am I? For those of you who don't know me, my name is Candace, or my pen name is C.S. Dorsey. I'm the author of 5 self-published books. So 5 titles that I actually published myself. I'm a self-publishing coach. So yes, I am a busy bumblebee, but I love every minute of it. So just to give you an overview, these are the titles that I've actually published and wrote, self-published myself. I didn't do the book covers. I had somebody do the book covers for me. But my first one, which is The Unsacred Gift, I actually did the book cover myself for the first edition, and I so wish that I had, I'm going to have to show you next time, a picture of the first cover that I did myself. Completely did it out of Word document, didn't know what I was doing. This was when self-publishing was, you know, just starting. So I had to research and do everything myself. It was a mess, yes. Everybody loved the book cover, and I was like, oh, like it. So I decided to get a professional person to do the next cover, which is The Unsacred Gift. That's my first book that I wrote. And I wrote my book, The Unsacred Gift, in 3 months. How I did it? Well, that's another session for that's another session that we're actually going to have, because it definitely takes discipline, hard work, time, planning, everything to write a book in 3 months. And when I tell people that, they're like, I've been working on writing my book for now about a year. And I'm like, really? It took me 3 months. So, you know, I definitely need to have a session on how I did it, because it took a lot of planning for me. It took a lot of notes. It's definitely a whole lot of discipline. There's so much things going on. And yeah, but it's all about motivation. It's all about, you know, making those plans and, you know, sticking with it, you know. So it's doable. I will plan that sometime, but I'm not going to be in with these sessions. But I would definitely plan a Facebook Live for how I did it in 3 months. Okay, so you're in the right place. If you're experiencing writer's block, or if you're feeling foggy, or if you don't know where to start. Okay, so you're in the right place. The real question is, you need to ask yourself, why do you want to write? You know, what is your goal? You know, is it for fun? Is it for publishing? Is it for money? Is it for family? Want to do like a family book? Is it journaling, or is it blogging? So you want to make sure that you lay out the reason why you're writing, the reason why you want to write. Definitely have a goal, have an objective. That's where, you know, sometimes I think our reasons why we want to write can affect our writing to begin with. So you want to think about that, okay? Types of creative writing. So journals, storytelling, essays, memoirs, scripts, letters, poetry, speeches, blogging, diaries, different types of creative writing, free write, journalism, song lyrics, you know, so it's a lot. It's a lot of different creative writing. You definitely want to figure out where you fit in this category. You know, what's your goal? And kind of sort those things out, okay? So now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of things. What is writer's block? Writer's block is the condition of being unable to think of what to write or how to proceed with writing, okay? What causes writer's block? Creative problems that originate with an author's work itself. Other blocks may be produced by adverse circumstances in a writer's life or career, such as physical illness, depression, end of a relationship, financial pressures, or a sense of failure. Okay, we've all been there, we've all felt that. Also, life events. I completely relate to the life event, because when I was in my group of writing and writing books and writing stories, I we were in the process, my mom and I, we were in the process of moving and purchasing a home. That in itself was stressful, and it caused some serious writer's block. I've had writer's block for about 5 years now. I'm just starting to get back into that mode, but could you imagine how big of a gap that was? Like, one major event in your life can completely change the whole course of things, completely change your mind. And getting back into that mode is very, very hard. I can't even tell you enough how hard it is to get back into that writing mode, okay? But it takes practice, okay? Also, procrastination. We are all guilty of it. Let's raise our hands and say, yeah, guilty. Procrastination. We plan out something and then we say, oh, I'm going to go ahead and do it. Then Friday night comes and we want to party, okay? Saturday comes, we want to listen to, I guess this is music, listen to music, be on the internet, you know, social media, everything. On Saturday, we binge watching our favorite shows, you know. Oh, I want to binge watch the Walking Dead, or, you know, my show, you know, the Game of Thrones is coming on, Witches, and I cannot wait until it come back on. Then Saturday night comes and we're scrambling. Monday comes, we're scrambling. Tuesday comes, we get back into the mode, but then once the weekend come or once something come up, we start procrastinating and we're scrambling at the end to get this done. We're not sticking to the plan, okay? So what do we tell ourselves? You know, in addition to procrastination, we also tell ourselves different things. You know, I don't know how to start. I'm going to do it. I'm definitely going to do it one day. I just need to do XYZ before I start. Or I don't have the right tools in order to do it, so yeah, therefore I'm not gonna do it, okay? You know, if we wrote a book based on the excuses that we make, guess what? It will be the #1 bestseller, okay? And there are books out there that's the #1 bestseller based on excuses. So if we wrote a book about our excuses right now, it will be a bestseller. Okay, excuses is the #1 problem that we have when we're trying to achieve something, when we're trying to accomplish something. You know, we gotta get those excuses out when we want to reach a goal or when we want to achieve something. Okay, also criticism. We criticize ourselves and others as well, you know, based on a whole lot of different things. You know, I can't do it, I'm not worthy, I must be perfect, I must not make a mistake, I'm not good enough, nobody loves me. Okay, that nobody loves me at the end, we could please scratch that out. I don't think that that is a part of this session, but you know, we criticize ourselves so much to the point we don't want to do anything. You know, we got to stop criticizing ourselves. You know, stop, you know, saying that this isn't perfect or this sentence isn't right or this paragraph isn't right. Who cares? You're the only one that can see it for now. Just think of it like that, you know? Grammar and things like that. Okay, so a comma is out of place, or I have a run-on sentence, or, you know, who cares, okay? You're gonna revise and revise and revise your writing over and over and over again. You're gonna have a editor looking at it. Once the editor look at it, then you look at it. So before you put it out to the world, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be touched like maybe between 6 to 8 times before you put it out into the world. Don't think about those things. Push that far back in your mind and just be who you are. Be creative, okay? The worst critic is you. You are your worst critic, okay? Some people can be, you know, critic towards other people. You know, I've been in writing groups where Some people, want to share their writing or their ideas, and people just completely put them down. And, the writing industry is very hard because other people make it hard for other people. Some people are not friendly. A lot of, authors that maybe went traditional or what have you, they are not the best support system for fellow authors. And it is very hard. And it can cause a lot of, discouragement, telling yourself, well, I was told that I put a comma in the wrong place, or my sentence is a run-on sentence, or, different things like that. And it can be really harsh, we can be harsh with ourselves as well. But the thing of it is, I've read books where they've had a lot of errors, and they became the #1 bestseller. Okay, didn't make sense, didn't sound right, but guess what? The reason why it was the #1 bestseller is because people could relate to the story. That's the whole key. That's where your creativity comes in, making sure your audience can relate to the story. Okay, we'll talk about that later as well. So we tend to overthink, we overreact, and we over edit. We over edit. We are all guilty of it. I know I am. Okay. Start writing and stop editing as you go along, questioning every sentence, comparing yourself to other authors. Okay. Learn to get your message across first and revise later. Stick to what your message is, okay? More important, stop listening to what others do. Stephen King is Stephen King. I don't think there's no other Stephen King out there. That's him. He's very unique. Who's another one? James Patterson. James Patterson is James Patterson. That's him. Okay. Who's another one? What's that author name? E.O. James. That's E.O. James. J.K. Rowling. That's J.K. Rowling. That's her creativity. What about you? Don't try to be like others, and don't try to do what others do, because what's working for them is working for them. Okay. When we start trying to do other things that other people do, it's not going to work out. You're going to sound like a copycat. You're going to sound like, this is not creative. This is not different, So we tend to listen to others, especially the internet. When we Google searching things, we're trying to find out things, and we tend to get caught up in all the, all the information that's out there. And, people give their input. Some people say certain things. Other people say certain things. And then it's all mumble jumble, and you're trying to become or be like those other people that's out there in the internet, and you're not being yourself. So get that out of the way and be you. Okay? Just be yourself. So now that we kicked out our inner critic, our procrastination, the criticism, the excuses that we have, and you, yourself, we kicked all those things out. Now we can write something. Now we can get going. It's time to get going. So what are we going to write? Well, I have an exercise for everyone. Exercise 1. Get out a pen and paper. And you can definitely do this while I'm talking, while we're having this session. And I want you to look around. It could be in your living room, or you're outside walking the dog, or the gym. Well, when you're walking the dog and you're at the gym, you don't have a piece of paper. So disregard that. But if you're in your office, or if you're at home, or if you're in the kitchen somewhere, get out a piece of paper, look around you, and what do you see? Okay. So you might see your dog Buddy. What is Buddy doing? So he's probably tired from running around the dog park, or running around outside in the backyard. Looks like he has a little ball in his paws or his arms, and he's just sitting on the grass rested. What is Buddy doing? Write down what Buddy is doing. Or what is your cat princess doing? I love that name, by the way. What is your cat princess doing? Okay. Oh, princess is just meowing, looking for food, want to cuddle, watching TV with you. You can write down anything that princess is doing. Probably playing with the ball of yarn or scratching up your furniture, something like that. Okay. Or you can say, what is your daughter? Or sorry. I just got so caught up in the whole, the what's Buddy doing? What is Princess doing? Or maybe you see your daughter playing dress up. Okay. So adorable. She's playing dress up. She's in her princess gown, and she got your shoes on, and she's running around, dancing. So ask yourself, what is going on right now? What are they doing? Okay. So what I did was I actually picked the daughter in the princess costume, and I wrote a little blurb about it. Okay. This Doing it this way has helped me so much when I write a blurb first about what I'm going to talk about, what book I want to write. But if there's grammatical errors, don't judge me, okay? So I wrote this blurb, and I said, I watched her dance in a gown fit for a princess. The blue sequins of her dress matched the blue tint of her eyes. Like the sea as the wind graced the currents rippling off the shore. She danced and spun around so fast as if she was preparing to dance with Prince Charming. Little did I know she would one day grace the dance floor with King of Tobiah. Okay, completely made up. I made everything up, especially the Tobiah part. But it is so many different ways you can go with this. And I in one of my sessions, I'm going to show you how you can break a blurb down and write a complete book off of it. Okay. So many different things you can do. Okay. So secret number one for my fiction writers. Where's my fiction writers at? The best advice that I'm going to ever give you is let the character tell the story. Okay. Let the voice speak to you and don't tell their story. Okay. We as writers, we get involved too much in telling the character's story, especially if we're doing like is a first person where the character is actually telling the story of the book. We tend to tell their story and them not telling their story. Okay, you have to take a step back, get into the character's mind, let the characters talk to you, and let them tell you step by step their story. It's kind of like an interview process. When you're interviewing somebody, what's the point of the interview if you telling answering the questions for the person that you're interviewing? Let the character tell the story. Let that voice come out. Let that voice speak to you. You get out of it. You don't say, okay, well, I want you to do this, 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 and then we're going to say that. No, let the character say, okay, this is my life. This is my story that I want to tell. We're going to tell it. I'm going to tell it how it should be. Okay? It's not hard to do. You just have to let that voice listen to you. You have to listen to that voice that is within you. Okay? Just right. Just right. Okay. Ideally, by the second or third chapter, you should have an idea of the story and plot. Okay, this is only if you are just writing. Okay, you have no plot, you have no way of where the story is going. By the second or third chapter, which if you keep writing, you will have 3 chapters, you should have an idea of where the story and plot is going. Then you can start planning. Okay, don't worry about editing. Please make a lot of mistakes. It's okay. It is okay to make so many mistakes because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your ideas on paper. You're trying to get your point across, and you're trying to get your message across. Okay, make the mistakes. It's okay. You can revise later. Okay, you can revise as many times as you want to. So if you want to revise it 10 to 20 times, that is totally up to you. But know in your mind that I can revise, I can change things later. Let me just get this down on paper, okay? Another thing, get rid of the distractions. Oh boy, our cell phones, our laptop. Well, we're gonna be on our laptop with our cell phones. Social media, Facebook, multitasking. You can be creative multitasking. This is not gonna work. It's not, your story is not going to sound right. You need to plan. You need to get rid of those distractions. Take your cell phone and put it somewhere else. Put it in a box. Put it in your room. Like your cell phone is somewhere in another room, and you in another room, maybe downstairs. Turn off the TV. Get rid of those distractions that's causing you to not be able to focus. Okay. Now this one that the lady is driving and she's on the phone and she's on the laptop and she's driving at the same time, that is completely unrealistic because 2 seconds into driving, she should have had an accident because that is a lot. That is too much. And I've seen people where they're multitasking on while they're driving. You can't do that, it causes a serious collision. But distractions, not paying attention, not focusing on what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve. We're all guilty of it. I know I am. My cell phone, yes, I don't talk on the phone, but social media and apps and everything gets my attention. Email, everything gets my attention. But we have to learn to put those things aside, and ask yourself a question. What did we do before cell phones even came? What did we do before everybody could, afford an actual, computer, or before, social media came? It was just regular notebook and pencil. That's it. Times is, as we progress in times, more and more things are coming out. And, at one point, for a long time, we didn't have any of these things. So we kind of have to go back to that, go back to that pen and paper and then just writing. That's it. I want to help you get through this. I want to help you with your writing, your journey. I've been there, and everything that I'm, showing you and telling you, these are tips that I came up with myself that helped me to write my book in 3 months. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen.
I really hope you received some valuable tips in today's episode. Remember, you can sign up to receive notifications of the podcast episodes at hellociasdorsey.com. Until next time, keep on writing.